We are told that this is the greatest era of generosity in human history. We watch a man build houses for the homeless, pay for the blind to see, and hand out life-changing fortunes to the desperate. But look closer at the architecture of the miracle. The girl receiving the surgery is not just a patient. She is a retention asset. The homeless man receiving the keys is not just a tenant. He is a data point in a high-yield emotional transaction. In September 2024, the curtain was pulled back. A class action lawsuit filed in Los Angeles described a culture of misogyny, denial of basic food, and systemic medical neglect. It revealed that the Beast Games were not a celebration of human spirit, but an industrial harvest of human endurance. We call this progress. We call it philanthropy. But what happens to a civilization when the only way to save a life is to turn the rescue into a high-yield digital asset? Marx, Fred Rogers, and Nietzsche all tried to warn you. You just weren't looking at the right screen. To understand the logic of the Beast Games, we have to leave the digital stadium and enter the dim light of the British Museum. Here, a bearded philosopher named Karl Marx is scribbling the final pages of Das Kapital. Marx was obsessed with a specific component of the capitalist engine, the Industrial Reserve Army. These were the desperate, the unemployed, and the discarded. In 1867, they were a tool used by factory owners to keep wages low. If a worker complained about the soot or the 16-hour shifts, the owner simply pointed to the starving man at the gate. Marx wasn't just writing about factories. He was describing a structural requirement for any system of extreme accumulation. The system doesn't just tolerate poverty, it needs it. Without the reserve army of the desperate, there is no leverage. Without the millions of people in the comments begging for a miracle, the miracle itself has no value. In the 19th century, the reserve army was harvested for their physical labor. In the 21st, they are harvested for something more intimate, their attention.
He's just become the first casino where the currency you pay with is attention.
Do you think attention is the most valuable currency in the world?
Well, of course.
We have reached the final, most dystopian evolution of Marx's theory. A world where the suffering of the many is the essential fuel for the entertainment of the few. But how does a private citizen become more powerful than a welfare state? To find the answer, we have to look at the mechanism. To understand how this empire functions, we must look at the MSM cycle. Money, spectacle, more money. Unlike traditional charity, which aims to solve a problem and disappear, the MSM cycle requires the problem to persist. Capital is invested into a spectacle of suffering. The spectacle generates views. The views generate a massive surplus of capital, which is then reinvested into a larger, more expensive spectacle. On September 16, 2024, the cycle hit a mechanical failure. A 5-count class action lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles. This isn't a tabloid rumor or a cancel culture thread. This is a Tier 1 legal document, a primary source that reveals the true industrial cost of the spectacle. We don't need to speculate. We can read the filing. The document describes a production environment where contestants, the living labor of the beast economy, were allegedly denied basic human needs. Page 32. Participants were deprived of adequate food and sleep. Page 41. A culture of systemic sexual harassment and misogyny. This is the mechanism revealed. The miracle on screen is subsidized by the degradation off-screen. The $5 million prize isn't a gift. It is the interest paid on a debt of human endurance. But if the cost is so high, why do we keep watching? Why do we feel like we're part of the solution when we're actually the ones turning the crank? It is a comforting lie to believe that the problem is the man in the thumbnail. If we blame the individual, the billionaire, the creator, the CEO, we preserve our own innocence. We tell ourselves we are merely witnesses to a tragedy we didn't write. But the algorithm is not a sentient God. It is a mirror. It does not feed us what it wants. It feeds us what we demand. Every click on a video titled, "I survived 70 days in solitary," is a vote for the next contestant to endure 80. Every second of watch time we grant to a spectacle of desperation is a signal to the machine that human suffering is the highest performing asset in our portfolio. We are not the audience. We are the living labor of attention. In the 19th century, the worker gave their muscle to the factory. In the 21st, you give your neurological focus to the platform. You are the one turning the crank. You are the one keeping the vampire alive. We watch the cage because we are afraid to look at the bars. And as Nietzsche warned us, when you stare into the abyss of the spectacle eventually begins to stare back into you. This is not just a breakdown of a YouTube channel. It is the realization of a philosophical nightmare. Friedrich Nietzsche spent his life documenting the collapse of Western values. He warned of a specific psychological rot he called ressentiment, a deep-seated resentment that occurs when people feel powerless, leading them to create a slave morality that masks their envy as virtue. Nietzsche saw the performance of virtue as a cultural disease. He argued that when a society decouples appearing good from being good, authenticity becomes structurally impossible. In the world of the beast, generosity is not a private moral choice. It is a brand strategy optimized for maximum retention. If a miracle happens and the cameras aren't rolling, does the miracle have any value? In this system, the answer is a cold, definitive no. This is the industrialization of empathy. When you turn a charitable act into a content asset, you kill the very thing you claim to celebrate. Nietzsche warned that this leads to the last man, a creature who has lost the ability to dream or create, and instead seeks only pitiful comfort and endless, passive entertainment. We are living in Nietzsche's nightmare, a world where we no longer strive for greatness, but instead settle for the simulated warmth of a philanthropist who feeds us spectacles to distract us from our own mounting powerlessness. We are cheering for the man who built the cage, simply because he painted the bars gold. But even a golden cage requires funding. And that brings us to the moment where the spectacle meets the bottom line. We are told that the cost of this entertainment is free. You give nothing but 20 minutes of your time. But in the architecture of the attention economy, free is the most expensive price you can pay. In a world where your attention is the new oil, your digital identity is the raw crude being refined. Every click, every pause on a thumbnail, every like on a video of a stranger being rescued from poverty is a data point sold to the highest bidder. You aren't just watching a harvest of the desperate on screen. You are being harvested in your own living room. Protecting your focus isn't just a choice, it's an act of sabotage. It is a refusal to be the fuel in a machine that requires your neurological exhaustion to turn a profit. We have reached the point where the spectacle is no longer just something you see. It is something that is happening to your biology. You think you are the observer, but the system has already diagnosed your weaknesses, and it's about to use them. In 1969, the future of media hung on a single conversation. Fred Rogers sat before Senator John Pastor, defending a $20 million grant for public broadcasting. At the time, television was a vanguard of violence, an emerging machine designed to overstimulate children for profit. Rogers didn't talk about hooks or retention. He spoke about the inner drama of a child. He argued that a system could be built to grow a human being rather than harvest them. He saw the screen as a tool for emotional development, not a cage for attention.
I'll tell you what children need. They need adults who will protect them from the ever-ready molders of their world. I would hope that anybody who sets himself or herself out to produce mass programming for children could have the kind of respect of childhood that I had, because it's not all clowns and balloons. Some television programs are loud and scary, with people shooting and hitting other people. You know, you can do something about that. When you see scary television, you can turn it off.
He won the $20 million because he convinced the state that the human spirit was not a commodity.
Could I tell you the words of one of the songs which I feel is very important?
Yes.
What do you do with the mad that you feel when you feel so mad you could bite? When the whole wide world seems oh so wrong and nothing you do seems very right. I can stop when I want to, can stop when I wish, can stop, anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this. And know that the feeling is really mine. Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can be someday a lady, and a boy can be someday a man.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
Fast forward 55 years. We no longer have Fred Rogers. We have the retention memo. This leaked document from the Beast Empire reveals a clinical, almost sociopathic obsession with engineering. It doesn't mention the inner drama of the viewer. Instead, it details how to eliminate dead air, how to iterate a thumbnail 50 times to trigger a dopamine response, and how to treat a human being as a retention asset. This is the thesis proven. Rogers wanted to give children the gift of silence so they could think. The modern algorithm treats silence as a system failure that must be purged. We have moved from a media that seeks to grow the viewer to a media that seeks to consume them. The 1969 hearing was the last time we asked what media could do for us. Now, we only ask what we can do for the media. The warning was ignored. The harvest is complete. And the final verdict is one we are not yet ready to hear. We are the inheritors of a world that was explained to us long before we were born. Marx gave us the diagnosis: a system that cannot stop until every human impulse is a commodity. Nietzsche gave us the warning: a culture that performs virtue to mask its own hollow core. And Fred Rogers gave us the alternative: a belief that we are more than the sum of our metrics. We chose the spectacle. We traded the difficult, quiet work of being human for the loud, easy comfort of the algorithm. We watched as charity became a brand, as empathy became an exploit, and as the industrial reserve army of the lonely was converted into a billion-dollar empire. We have built a world where kindness has a price tag, and we are the ones who keep paying it. The cage is open, but we have forgotten how to walk out.
I'm a former MrBeast employee, and today I am alleging that the company rigged videos and did illegal lotteries and sold fake signatures. I would consider that fraud, okay? Thank you.